Good afternoon, colleagues. And before I begin, just remind everyone that social distancing measures are in place throughout the Holyrood campus, and just be careful, particularly on entering and leaving the chamber. Our first item of business this afternoon is Time for Reflection, and our Time for Reflection leader is Dr. Sohaib Saeed, the Honorary Muslim Chaplain at the University of Edinburgh. Dr. Saeed.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of God, most compassionate, most merciful. Some weeks ago, when it first became possible to ascend the pulpit of my local mosque and lead Friday prayers, it was a surreal experience to go through all these motions and precautions, bringing our own prayer mats, wearing masks, sanitizing hands, and leaving our contact details at the door. But perhaps the strangest thing was replacing the usual instruction, straighten the rows and fill the gaps, with straighten the rows but leave the gaps. We had to replace the physical solidarity of standing shoulder to shoulder with glances of acknowledgement that we are doing the right thing for the right reasons. And this is what I reminded my fellow believers about, the values of vigilance and intention. Both ideas are about being conscious and aware, to stay alert, to use an official slogan, to our outer and inner states. Spiritual vigilance is one way of translating the core Islamic value of taqwa, which is both a goal of worship and what gives it meaning. It means to guard ourselves against anything that would harm us or hold us back on the spiritual path. One of the early Muslims likened it to a person gathering in his or her robes when attempting to walk through a thorny garden. I couldn't help thinking of this image as I made my way carefully to the front of the mosque. That leads me on to intention, which is called niyyah in the Islamic sources. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, actions are judged according to intentions. And this teaching has so many important implications. Among them is the fact that two people could be doing the same action, but one is more deserving of divine reward because of what each one of them intended. And so we have each a choice when faced with a situation beyond our control. Do we look out just for our own interests and convenience? Or are we vigilant about the needs of others so that we can do our best for their sake? Do we just shrug and follow the latest rules and regulations? Or can we feel positive about temporarily giving up some dear things for the greater good? By keeping in mind why we do what we do, we can see the present challenge through. Thank you.
Dr. Saeed, thank you very much indeed.